The University of Chicago's Booth School of Business has been named the best business school in the country by Bloomberg Business Week. Co-host of Inside Track, Ms. Deirdre Bolton, has been out in Chicago live all morning, and she's now speaking with one of the best professors in the business, Stephen Neil Kaplan. Business Week named him one of the top 12 B-school teachers out in the U.S.
For years, Margaret. He's been on that list for years. He's sitting right next to me. Thank you so much.
Well, we're building the excitement here, Deirdre.
Oh, good, good, good. So we know one project you have been involved. First of all, congratulations on the Booth School being named #1 by Bloomberg Business Week, something you probably would maintain. You've known for years, but here it is in print. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
And we know that you are extremely active in the Booth Entrepreneurial Center, and this idea that students here can take classes and be trained perhaps in something that years ago wouldn't have been the case, a less mainstream path, and that is guiding them towards being entrepreneurs.
That is correct. I started teaching this about 13 years ago, and we had very little. And now entrepreneurship at Booth is the second most popular concentration after finance. So we have students, a lot of students doing a lot of entrepreneurship.
What are some of the best ideas you've heard of, just out of curiosity, from your students?
The best ideas out of our students? So we had in our business plan competition, which I'm willing to say is the best business plan competition in the country. We had a company last year called Bump. Bump is one of the top iPhone apps out there. It has like 25 million downloads at this point, and came out of our competition, left school, and they were funded by Sequoia a year ago, and Sequoia is, probably, if not the best-known venture capital firms, one of the top two. We had a company out of our business plan competition called Grubhub, which allows you to order takeout, online, and has all the takeout restaurants everywhere. And they just got $11 million of funding from Benchmark, which is another one of the top venture capital firms. And those would probably be my two favorite at the moment.
Steve, speaking of venture cap, we've come through the crisis. We are now post-crisis. A lot of venture cap firms have disappeared. There's a lot of consolidation. What does this mean for businesses who are looking to get money?
So it means that it's harder to get money from venture because there's less of it, which is an issue for startups. There's angel financing picks up some of that, but it is probably a little bit harder. The flip side of that, I think it's a great time to be a venture capitalist if you have money.
Because the returns will be greater.
The returns will be terrific because people, the returns have not been good over the last 10 years, and that means that some institutional investors are shying away from venture capital, and that historically is always a good time to invest in venture capital.
Call.
Absolutely.
Steve, hard to have you here as well and not talk about what's going on in private equity. We know we're covering a lot of grounds here, but what do you see about investors' attitudes towards private equity right now?
So private equity had its, boom time, 2000 to say 2005 in terms of returns, and then so much money came in 05, 06, 07, 08 and drove the returns down. So it's the same boom and bust cycle that you see in venture, you see in buyout. And now we're kind of in an intermediate period. There's still a lot of capital out there, but it's contracting. So I think private equity is probably, it's okay.
Do you hear angst from investors that maybe they're not getting the returns that they had hoped to get or did get in a previous era?
I think investors, are aware, gee, we got caught up in this bubble and we put too much money in, and now it's rationalizing, and going forward it'll be a smaller, it won't be as big as it was in 07, 08, but it'll exist and it'll be a real business.
Okay, Steve Kaplan, thanks so much for the time. It was a pleasure. Margaret, back to you in New York.